This is the Aoocci BX, a CarPlay system for motorcycles that comes with front and rear dash cams, tyre pressure monitoring, and even a physical blind spot radar. Today I'm going to show you how to install it on the bike, and then we'll take it for a ride and see how it actually performs. Full disclaimer, this was sent out to me for early testing, but it's not a sponsored video. I'm free to tell you what works and what doesn't. Quick look in the box, and the packaging's spot on. Everything's separated into its own little bag and labelled properly, and the build quality is good too, like surprisingly good. Everything's chunky and got a good weight to it. You even get a QR code for the install manual, and everything looks clear and straightforward. First impressions are good, so what could possibly go wrong? Let's get to the bike and see. And so here's our first problem. The cable for the radar is just too short, and my battery and switch power adapter is at the front of the bike above the tank, and this thing just won't reach. I could have spliced into the bike's wiring loom, but I really didn't want to be cutting into the bike for this, not at this stage. So everything stopped here till I could figure out a solution.
3 days later.
So I ordered an Oxford junction box. I wanted to get one anyway for a few other accessories. But guess what? The cable for that was too short too. So I had to create an extension loom to get it up to the battery, and then it was just a case of tidying up the rest of the leads the best I could. And this is just a test fit while I try out the product. If I do decide to keep it on the bike, then I'll go back in and tidy things up better. Now you are going to need a switched live so that the unit turns on and off with your ignition, and luckily my bike's got an adapter for this built in. So I just had to share that connection between the unit and the Oxford junction box. And I will say this, that the cable lengths are a little random. Some are very short and some are very long. It didn't quite make sense. But I do believe Aoocci has addressed this and is now shipping all units with a revised setup. So that install was actually a couple of months ago, and I'll be honest with you, the unit has been really good. I've got to say it's one of the best looking displays on the market. So as you can see here, we've got the tyre pressure sensor readings, and they are spot on compared to the bike. The bike has got them built in as well. The position where it's mounted, this is only a temporary position. It is a bit too high. If you've seen my videos before, you'll know that usually it's a little bit further down from a previous install. Just the way that this mount fits onto the bike, it's raised it up a bit more than what I would like. If I do keep this on my bike, I will be adapting this position. And for recorder, we've got a rear camera. We can go to our front camera. Obviously, you're not going to be having the front camera on while you're riding. Displays the speed as well, so this is actually a really good view to have. If you can see in my mirrors that my arms take up most of what's going on in there. Obviously I can see what's wide,
but I can't see what's behind, so this is valuable. This is worth it alone. Also, having that front and rear permanently recording while you're riding in case anything happens is worth every penny, in my opinion. What else we got? We've got a blind spot detection. Pairing it with your phones, nice and easy. You're going to go to your Bluetooth, pair a new device. So we are connected. You can see the light there. So we can have Waze, we can use Google Maps. You can obviously get to all your apps on your phone, which is great. But the only way out now is through that dot and to press home again. And if I put my gloves on, it's not as responsive as you can imagine. None of them are, so I wouldn't say it's a downside to it. But you can see, obviously now that worked very well, but when you're driving, and I'll do it in a minute, there's the blind spot triggering again, so that's good. It came on earlier. Previously, before the update, it was triggering a little bit too late, so sometimes you would get the warning when the car was actually next to you rather than approaching you. So I want to go back, let's try that again, and I want to drag that across. So it's not too bad. If I use my middle finger, because this glove's got a rubber bit on the tip, that's pretty responsive. And so one of the great things about all this is if you have a Bluetooth headset in your helmet, all this can be synced and voice control within your helmet. So all you have to do is press the mic. Take me to Liverpool.
Sure, Liverpool. Let's go.
You probably won't be able to hear that, but I am getting a load of voice commands in. So I'm going to turn the sound off. Let's see the trigger. That's fairly early. Not as early as some other units. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shift back. We'll go to home and go to recorder. So what I was saying about the physical buttons, now because the hand controls don't fit on my bike, I don't know how intensive they were between what you can actually jump between on the menus. I think it's a fairly basic controller. So when you're riding, you don't really want to be shifting between this, having to look at the screen, coming back. It's not too bad. But if you're in your sat nav, and then let's say I just want to go back to the home screen, the only way of doing that is pressing that circle and then pressing home. Now you can see that took 3 clicks. Now while you're riding, you don't really want to be having that. What I would really like to see is some quick buttons on the unit itself. From my experience, they are the best way of getting between the different screens. So I would like to see that in the future. So that's pretty much it. Let's take it out on the road. Let's see how it gets on. So obviously this is the home screen, which is what you're going to have it on most of the time. We can go to recorder. Now you see that didn't click, because if you're not precise and firm with your click, then it won't change. Sometimes when you're riding, it can be a little bit faffy to press, but that's not to say anything bad on this unit itself, because in my experience, they're all the same, especially when you got your gloves on. It can be a little bit unresponsive. I wouldn't say it's unresponsive actually, but when you got your gloves on, it's less responsive, right? And when you're riding and you're trying to keep your eye on what's going on, you don't want to be faffing too much, which is why a physical button on the unit itself, or the hand controller, is the best way to go. So what I like about this display is it's also displaying the speed. So you're getting 2 pieces of information there. Every time you look down, you're seeing what's behind you and you're seeing your speeds. Whereas if you didn't have that and you were just looking at your speedo, all you're getting is that 1 piece of information, which is just your speeds. So this is 2 for 1 in your view. And again, looking in the mirrors, I can't see a lot of what's behind me. I've got to pull my arm out the way and kind of look. Sometimes I've got to change my line of direction just so I can see what's behind me. So what I want to do is I want to get on the motorway and I want to check out this blind spot detection. Okay, here we go. Now that's good, that's giving us good time. That's a lot better. So before the update, that blind spot was happening just as the car passed, but it gave us a little bit of a warning there. So let's see again. I'm just going to hold off. This car's coming up behind. It should be triggering. Now would be nice. Okay, so it didn't trigger that time. Interesting. Let's see this car. No trigger. So maybe it has to be closer. If I go toward the center line a little bit. Let's see. And again, it didn't trigger. So I'm curious to what the tolerances are that's going to trigger this or not.
So yeah, as you've just seen, that blind spot radar still needs a bit of work. It's just not consistent enough yet, but I'm sure future updates will sort that out. And aside from that, the whole system, it's been flawless. I've been all over the place with it over the last few months and it hasn't let me down once. The phone connects instantly and everything works the way it should. One thing to be careful of though, the tyre pressure sensors. Depending on your valve stems, that extra weight could bend them at speed. Mine are short and stumpy, so I think I'll be fine, but definitely check yours. And if you run grip puppies like I do, that handlebar remote might not fit over them. I guess it just depends how big your grips are and if you've got anywhere else to mount it. Things I really liked: build quality, reliability, and that home screen design. It looks really good on the bike. And for the price, it's great value. The camera quality, especially at night, is way better than I expected. Customer service as well, they've been really good to deal with through the whole testing process. Room for improvement? Radar algorithm definitely needs tightening up, and personally I prefer a software-based system that uses the rear camera instead of mounting extra kit on the back of the bike. Physical buttons on the main display would be a game changer, and a couple of spare screws for the SD card door wouldn't hurt either. It would be nice if we could customise that home screen colour to match the bike's dash. That would be a nice touch. And a quick heads up, they've given me a limited time discount code for 28% off. So if you're thinking of getting one, now's a great time. The link's below, and after Black Friday it drops back to 22%. If you're considering other brands, I've got a few videos already out that are worth checking out here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.